about January 1st at midnight is the look on the guy at Walmart's face when it's 12:01 and you're like, I want a fishing license.
Let's go. Do you really shoot the halibut once you get him close to the surface?
We just shoot the halibut every Thursday.
Fellas, get back in that current.
I love it.
I hate
That's all right.
I hate me too, bud.
It's okay, Ryan.
I'm like a really fat branch, definitely.
Should we just fast forward to the part where I say, so you got skunked?
I have a question for you. So
You came to the right place, bud.
no, listen.
And we are back. This is the Rutten River Pursuits podcast. And we are in the current tonight. This is Reality Outdoor Radio, where our mission is to get you in the outdoors by connecting you to the people, skills, and products you can trust.
You can trust them.
My name is PIK, and who else is with me tonight?
I'm Catfish.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Steve.
And I am Will.
What's up, fellas?
Howdy,
We got
howdy.
a good group of people around the table.
This is good.
Yeah.
It is.
Almost a full table.
I'll tell you about this month's sponsor.
Tell me.
This month's episodes are brought to you in part by Protection First Class Outdoors. PFC lubes were designed and developed to protect and lubricate your firearms, your bows, your tree stands, heck, all your outdoor equipment.
What about fishing rods?
Absolutely fishing rods, Stevie. You know it.
No way.
You know it.
Even kniveses?
You can use it on all your knives, Bucky. The ones you made and the ones you bought. Guys, I'm telling you, this stuff was originally designed to use in automotive undercoatings. Now, it don't get more corrosive than that.
I heard that.
That's true.
Hey, Ryan.
Yeah, buddy.
Does it leave a film or residue?
Absolutely not, Brian. No film, no residue. This stuff isn't going to harm the bluing on your firearms, any other kind of finish you got on any of your other outdoor products. This stuff is the ticket. And what? Now, wait.
I bet it freezes.
It does not freeze, Bucky.
What?
Oh.
But there's one more thing I got to tell you about. This stuff will also act as a cover scent.
You got
How many times you ever taken a well-protected and lubricated piece of equipment in the outdoors? It stinks, boys.
It
Yes, it
stinks.
does.
Not this stuff. They got the earth and the pine cover scent mixed right into the lubricant.
Wow.
They
Come
thought
on.
of
Can't beat it.
everything.
That's right, guys. Make sure you head on over to pfcoutdoors.com. Check out everything they got going on over there. Pick up some of that lube. It's the ticket.
How's everybody been doing?
Better than Bucky.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
Thinking about you, Buck.
Bless his heart.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about you, Buck.
Bless
Hope
his-
you're on the mend.
Yeah. He's down for the count. He went under the knife, so he's doing okay. I'm proud to report it. We're just wishing him a safe.
Yep.
And
He wanted to
Well,
call in
recovery.
tonight, but we were afraid of what he might say.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
Thought you might be all meted up.
Under the influence of some prescription pain.
Yeah, for his own benefit, we
we said,
Passed.
yes.
Just heal
Not
up,
tonight.
bud.
Get well, Bob.
Not tonight.
All right. Glad to hear he's doing well.
I mean, most of us had the Thanksgivings.
I think all of us had.
Yeah, I had it too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like
Do they
kind
have
of national
Thanksgiving?
holiday.
They
Yeah,
have Thanksgiving yet in Maryland?
Yeah, South,
they do celebrate
South of
it
Mason
down there.
Dixon. They celebrate it. Yeah, yeah. Well, this is the first episode after the opening of the rifle season.
Yeah.
So how'd you guys do? You guys get out?
Oh yeah,
I want to talk about the Thanksgiving pick before you move it along.
yeah.
I'm sorry. I had a great Thanksgiving.
Gotta talk about what we're
I'm
thankful
sorry.
for.
What was your favorite dish?
My favorite dish: scalloped oysters.
Oh,
That
Yes.
somebody in Maryland says. I don't have a clue what that is.
yeah. I'm still trying to think. Yeah, actually, I'm confused now.
It's
I
like-
like crab for my Thanksgiving.
Is it
it's
scallops or
blue
oysters?
crabs.
It is like scalloped potatoes, but with oysters.
But no scallops.
No scallops.
So you have
no
scallops and oysters.
No,
Are
no,
the
it's,
scallops fried before you?
it's just the oysters.
Sea cucumbers.
That's the most confusing dish I've ever heard
Yeah,
of.
yeah.
Scalloped oysters.
There aren't
cucumbers
scallops
as a
in
garnish.
scalloped potatoes, are there?
No, but that's why they're called scalloped potatoes.
They're scalloped.
It's the way that they're sliced.
They're scalped.
Are the oysters scalloped?
Yes.
Is it scalloped?
Oh,
thought it was
isn't an
scalloped.
oyster already scalloped when it comes out?
I think it's SCALLOP.
Scalloped.
Regardless, only a Chesapeake Bay Area person would say, I like oysters.
The turkey, the potatoes, the gravy, everything's good. But my wife has a relative that brings scalloped potatoes. Scalped or scalloped, however you want to pronounce it.
Is it potatoes or oysters
good.
now?
They're oysters.
Squawk?
All right.
Pretty good stuff.
It's
Go,
good
why not?
stuff. Good stuff.
Lacey made a chocolate peanut butter lasagna dessert.
What is that?
It's heaven. And
Sounds
hell
like
at the
it.
same time. It's very good. That
What's
was my
that
favorite.
like? What makes it lasagna?
The layers.
It's just layer after layer of peanut butter, chocolate, peanut butter, whipped cream, chocolate, whipped cream,
man.
and then on top of it, it has like Hershey's
Mozzarella
chocolate
cheese.
syrup. Yes.
Yeah. And marinara.
I don't know. It has some. I think it has maybe like a layer of graham crackers in there somewhere. But regardless,
That sounds delicious.
Insane.
there's a few calories per scoop. Like
Yeah, I'd say so.
4,000. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I'd say my favorite was just the overall dessert spread. There was just too many to count. There was like this pumpkin mousse thing. There was this peanut butter pie, and desserts for sure.
Pumpkin mousse.
Pumpkin
Yeah.
mousse?
Chocolate.
Pumpkin mousse,
Chocolate deer.
the chocolate deer, vanilla elk,
Oh, it's delicious.
pickled caribou.
So did you give yourself the week off, or you're? I know you've been dieting and fitness.
Oh yeah,
fitness boy.
I pretty much went off the rails from when I took my vacation to Thanksgiving.
Like
It
a
was
crazy train.
Yeah, it was just I was eating and drinking everything in sight.
Does it take when you strictly do the diet stuff you've been doing,
Yeah.
and then you finally get a piece of peanut butter pie? Is it better?
It tastes better, and then you get a giant stomach ache.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Is it hard to get back on the wagon?
Yeah, it's been tough.
It's
but
addictive.
Yeah,
Like the sugar is very addictive.
Oh yeah, it's like between that and the beer, it's like, oh man. But yeah, I'm getting back on the wagon here before Christmas, so
Really?
then I'll probably go off the rails till New Year's, and
I was
then
gonna say that's a tough time to get
Christmas
back on
cookies
again.
are coming.
yeah.
I know you didn't hold back tonight, so
No.
you're not quite on the wagon.
No, not on the wagon.
Christmas cookies get me every year,
Yeah.
especially working in a hospital. There's always somebody brings cookies.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
We made some this week, so we have the freshest cookies.
Yes.
Is it sushi
we're
grade?
fresh.
Sushi grade. Sure.
Sushi
Sushi
grade chocolate cookies.
You and I like oyster sugar cookies.
What makes a oyster?
Stevie, what's your favorite dish, bud?
What?
What's your favorite dish?
My favorite dish?
For Thanksgiving.
Oh,
Sweet potatoes.
Come on.
Yeah, we did. It was sweet potatoes. Yeah, they were good.
What'd you put on them? Cinnamon, cumin,
there
onion,
was cinnamon and butter, and there was some sweet stuff on there too.
brown sugar.
Caramel drizzle.
Yeah, something like that.
So is that a thing?
Really
Sweet potato casserole really a thing?
Yeah, this wasn't. This was just chopped
That's
up
good stuff.
sweet potatoes with stuff on it. But yeah, that's. I really like that.
I've had that too.
No
Sweet potato
skins.
Casserole.
Skins off.
Skins. Oh, the vitamins are in the skin.
I don't know if that's
Man,
real. I think they just tell you that. That's like
To get you to eat it.
Yeah.
Well, I've been lied to then
I'm sure that's the case,
Yeah, that's just to reduce waste.
but I'm not really sure.
because I eat the skins and all.
Do you?
Yes.
I do want to rate like white baked potatoes, but not on
Well,
sweet.
yeah.
baked
What's the
potatoes.
difference then?
Um,
One's orange, one's brown.
yeah.
I'm with PIK on this one. If you want really good mashed potatoes, you got to leave some of the skins
Yeah.
in.
Dirty taters.
Yeah.
Now
Yes.
we're talking two different things. Mashed potatoes and sweet potatoes aren't the same.
Just leave the skins on.
They're saying leave this. That's how it's
Just-
prepared. Is what
yes.
they're
No,
saying.
no skins on sweet potatoes.
Yeah, you can't do it. That's
Regular
cardinal
potatoes I'm
sin.
cool with, but
I don't know. I guess we'll just have to agree to disagree.
we're gonna have to. But
Yeah.
this is we're at a crossroads here.
We're going to have to make
gonna-
both dishes to find out.
Yeah, we'll have to.
So I'm behind the 8 ball on this one too. I literally haven't been educated on the fact that it's not a thing anymore to put stuffing inside the bird because it doesn't cook right or something.
Yeah, well, see, what we do is the last couple of years we're doing the spatchcocking technique, where the idea is the flatter you can make it, that you cut the backbone out and you lay it out flat, then all those chunks of meat will cook more evenly.
Right.
Makes sense.
So that's that's the game there.
Do you guys know the difference between stuffing and dressing? Not the type of dressing you put on salad.
Is this another Maryland thing?
Here we go.
It's got to
No, it's
dressing I've heard of people putting oysters in. Like my wife's family is from Maryland, and they put there's some stuff in, like they put sausage and all different things in there.
No, this is
stuffing.
I had some conversations with some people where I work,
Old
and
timers.
they were talking about old timer, and they were a couple of them were from further south, and they called it dressing, and I'm like, what's the dressing? And dressing is the stuff that goes in the bird.
Yeah, it's to dress
and then
the bird.
stuffing is the stuff outside of the bird that sits on your plate. And I said, well, isn't it the same thing? And they were like, yes, but dressing goes in the bird and stuffing is prepared outside the bird.
That doesn't make sense.
Me either. Where I'm from, Northeast PA, it was just called stuffing.
Yeah.
And that was it. Whether it's in the bird or it sat on your plate and you made it.
For some reason, it's very interchangeable in
It's
our family.
regional. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Must be.
Steve, you remember some of those Thanksgivings where we had to sit at the kids' table?
Yeah.
We rocked the kids' table.
Till you were
I
30.
heard that.
We had the biggest Thanksgiving. So 5 kids each of them had
40
two
kids,
to 2 to 4
10.
kids.
Yeah.
So we had so many cousins, and we were all supposed to be there. Like my grandma did not. You weren't.
Yeah, we were all about the same age too, for the most part.
You get wrote out of the will, basically.
Yeah.
If you
I don't
You're
think.
not there.
Are you sure I don't think miser's I think it's Mogwai. You guys multiply like through water on it. There's a lot of numbers.
it's true, but it's more like locust. Like every 7 years,
It happens
There's a population explosion.
every 7.
As far as family stuff goes, though, the food was good. I have to say, I don't know if it's typical or atypical, how families love each other and get together, and you have this greeting card type of concept of what Thanksgivings is supposed to be. All our Thanksgivings haven't been quite like that. They weren't always perfect.
Yeah.
I would have to say it's been a long time since I had a perfect family Thanksgiving, and we had one, and I was
good. Really?
Yeah, it wasn't
That's
only
awesome.
a blessing, but it was
Lucky.
almost healing to see everybody just be a family. That was nice.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So I'm very thankful for that on Thanksgiving, and that we had no oysters there.
I'd be thankful for that too, because that'd freak me out.
Yeah.
I'd leave. I'd walk out.
So I married a Maryland girl,
Yeah.
and so I made sloppy joes.
For Thanksgiving.
And we almost got a divorce when she called them steamers.
Yes, that
They're
was-
not steamers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was
so
was
you didn't make them for Thanksgiving.
you made sloppy joes.
No, not for Thanksgiving.
No, he was just
No, I was saying
Stating.
the differences between,
Yeah.
I mean,
The-
we're 30 minutes apart and it's a whole different
Yeah.
country down there.
Similar
Yeah.
terrain.
I had a similar experience when I was dating my now wife. She invited me over to her mom and dad's house, and she's for dinner, and she's like, "Yeah, we're having steamers." Where I come from, steamer is clams. You steamed clams, and our
Okay.
family would call steamed
Like a
clan
steam
steamers.
pot,
yeah. And so I show up. I'm like,
Did you ever
"Man, I
have a
have
steamer in
not-"
Cleveland?
He's there with his shucker ready and
And I show up, and it is this sloppy Joe.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's not steamer. Where's the clam? She's like, no, that's steamer. I'm like, no, it's not. It's so.
Yeah, it's-
I've had that same experience.
So you thought you were gonna have a fancy seafood
yeah,
dinner,
yeah.
and it turned out to be a
bunch of mushy
Yeah.
meat with ketchup.
Pigs in the blanket.
Yes.
That's another one.
Yeah, it's a
Pigs
big-
in the blanket. down south is hot dogs rolled in dough.
Yes.
Where I'm from, it is stuffed cabbage.
Yes.
I thought it was called picking a blanket.
That.
Picks. It's plural.
Anyway,
then so I after the Thanksgivings, I did a little bit of smoking some meats and got caught smoking. I guess you could say. Smoking.
Addicted.
I smoked some salt. I've been smoking.
Smoked my TV.
But I didn't really do much by way of hunting. I've been caught in what I call PA hunting purgatory because I killed in archery. I killed my buck in archery. I got a doe tagged out in my area, my one area, and I'm just literally waiting for doe to come in. And I'm not that there wasn't other things to hunt. I just I went to a Penn State game. I just did a whole bunch of stuff.
Small taste of that March Madness.
Everyone else is getting out, and I heard some big things and stuff that But anybody else getting out?
Cal, did you get out?
Oh yeah.
What happened? Nothing.
No, I went out.
So we fast forward to the part where you get skunked?
So I got skunked, Stevie. But luckily, my brother was able to get a buck. So that was
your
actually
other brother.
Yeah, my other brother, my other brother.
Oh my gosh!
So that was actually a very momentous harvest because that's the first buck that we've ever actually gotten out of our camp. Up at our cabin.
Really?
So,
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It was a nice one too.
Yeah.
What was it? 8 point?
Yeah, it was a nice 8 point.
Was it luck or did you crack a code?
I'd say it was a combination. So
A lucky code crack?
yeah, a lucky code crack. So we, my brother's putting in a good amount of time scouting in the early season and kind of set up a couple different stands on public land by like a fresh clear cut. And it just so happened that, I was more of I wasn't really feeling just sitting all day, so I was kind of doing a little spot and stalk, the still hunting, and
AKA I got cold, so I have to move.
Yeah, pretty much. And actually,
Been there.
so
I'm gonna do a little spot and stalk. My feet aren't cold or anything.
my feet are cold and I'm bored.
Yeah.
So, I was just using the topography to kind of my advantage of moving around. And
Oh, you're like a ninja.
Oh, yeah.
7 foot.
I'm like a Sasquatch just running up 80 degree slopes.
Yeah.
And I actually bumped a buck and two doe his way, and
So you got the assist.
so I got the assist again. So
You're doing some good work for them.
You're working
Yeah.
out a triple double.
yeah, I'm doing great on the assist. Just need to get some deer to cooperate.
Get
to
the
in
hat
front of
trick
me.
now.
Yeah,
You can get the one more buck.
yeah. I got one more brother to get a buck, and then maybe the table will turn.
My
for
late
me.
muzzleloader.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, it was awesome. It was a big monumental time because he was able to get the first buck in our camp in probably 15, 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Stevie, how's your deer season?
It's pretty good.
Next.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Catfish, did you get out?
I did.
Yeah.
I saw some does and a button buck and some rain, and it's difficult for us. The first day is generally a tiring day because we work till midnight, get home at 1 a.m. Me and Lacey were both pretty tired, so to get out the first typical Monday, we're running on no sleep, and so that happened again this year. Even though the first day was Saturday, it rained where we were, and it was windy. And it cut through you. So Lacey did amazing because by 10 o'clock she was sitting in a double man tree stand on the farm. She was shivering the tree stand, but she wouldn't quit.
Geez.
Will knows this.
She does not quit. It's it's the coolest and worst thing ever.
she will not quit until I say, let's
We're
go.
done.
She won't quit then.
No.
Because you weren't there.
I asked her twice.
Yeah.
Are you 8:30, 9 o'clock, nothing was moving. We did see a button buck for a good 20 minutes, and she got some scope time to practice.
Yeah.
And Lacey's, I got to give her credit. Lacey's a really good proficient hunter, but everybody has weaknesses and strengths. I think one of Lacey's that we've been working on's weakness is fast action target acquisition by means of get the gun up without getting busted.
Yeah.
Getting on target, finding the deer in the scope, and then calming yourself to make a really good shot.
Yeah.
We're still working on it. It's sometimes the shot's there and the deer, it's gone before she gets the chance. Like, you can make the shot, but she still hasn't got that quickness yet.
That is tough.
It is.
That just takes time and repetition, and
it's tough as you sit there and you love her and you want the best for her. So I'm like, I could have shot this deer 10 times. So but this button buck gave her the opportunity to practice that, putting the gun down. I didn't even care if it busted us. Just put the gun back down. Okay, get on the target. Get that deer. Put the gun back down. Back and forth, and it was good. So
nice. That's good.
Long story short, I got cold.
There you go.
And I told her, I said, "You look pretty cold. I'm going to take you in," which meant I was really cold. So, and it was like, remember that long drag I talked about? It was the same area.
Yeah.
We walked.
Hold on one sec. You have to if you hunt with catfish, I need to dive into this 1 second. There are things that catfish says that means something else, and that's one of them. Like, he just pointed it out. He kind of lets you pull back the curtain on a little bit of catfish. Like the other day, we're out in the goose field and we're on the fence row, and he's like, "That decoy is really bugging me. I got to fix that." And I'm like, "I don't know what you mean." It just meant he needed to go stretch his legs. Yeah. Like it didn't. There was nothing wrong with the set, but
but there was.
I guess.
Will knows me well. Sometimes there's a double negative to things I say. Yes.
Look at that decoy. That's messing us up. There's not a bird in the sky. I haven't seen one yet, but
my leg's asleep.
I gotta go fix that.
I want to move.
I love it.
I took Lace home, and we ate some soup, got warmed up.
Sushi.
We got 15 pounds of mud off each boot, which actually to me was the coolest part of the day. We talk about like Will, and sometimes I look at Will and be like, "Check this leaf out," and you have to have this weird moment where you just have to see things, I guess, through my inner hippie eyes or whatever. But
leaf hugging.
We walked down there in the dark that morning, and I took a butter knife. And this is, if nobody takes a butter knife with them when they hunt in the mud, you're missing out, because the butter knife is the most effective tool for getting. It's quick, it's easy, fits in your pocket, and if you drop it, who cares? There's another one. But to get mud off your shoes, your boots, before you climb up in a tree stand, I find is important when you got them caked on.
Yeah.
Because once you get up there, you can make your tree stand slippery. You can fall. So she stood there in the dark and put her knee on my knee as I knelt down. And to clean my wife's muddy boots off with the butter knife in the dark there was something actual sensual about it, that don't happen in deer season very often. I'm like,
it's almost like you asked her to marry you again.
I did. All she needs is a butter knife and some mud, and love happens. So, I
believe it.
We got cold. I took her home, and we had some soup and the quick 45-minute nap.
Yeah.
Once again, buggered me up like it did the other night. I got in there too late when I went back. I went back out by myself the afternoon, and there's a dude in my tree stand.
Really?
Yeah. Let me back up. I was gonna go somewhere else, so I went to the beehives, which I have another stand on another farm not far away.
Yeah.
And I get out of the truck. I'm starting to walk up past the beehives, and anybody who pheasant hunted with me knows that you don't swat them, you just go. You just smile at them and just walk through them. They leave you alone because there's bee boxes everywhere. So this truck comes pulling in and like flies right up to me as I'm walking in. Orange, rifle slung. I'm 50 yards from my tree stand. He runs right up into the boxes and puts his window down. Cat. Yeah. Where are you hunting? Because me and my boy were going to hunt over here tonight. And I went,
man.
Hey, I won't say his name, but I knew him from a long, long time ago. I haven't seen him in 15 years. This is my boy, blah, blah, blah. My boy's been hunting really hard all year. I can't get him on a buck. And we were going to hunt over here. I know there's a big buck running around over here. We saw it from the road. I went, I don't know that at all.
Tell me more.
Yeah. So the sportsman thing to do was to tell this guy, and I did. I said, why don't you put your boy in my stand and go up there and walk some of that corn out? He's probably laying in there, and I'll go to the other farm. And I felt really good about my decision as I undid the backpack and jumped in the truck and headed to the other farm, to the tree stand we hunted in the morning. Until I got there and there was a dude in it. So
the second tree stand?
Yeah, on the other farm that I hunted in the morning. Geez. So long story short, because I could drag this out for a while, I was he wasn't very, I had a very nice civil conversation with, this is my tree stand.
Right.
He said, well, I got permission to hunt this farm yesterday. I went, good. And it was like 15 years ago for me. But I'm really happy that you got permission. We'll hunt around each other, but this is my tree stand. Well, I'm already here. I got here kind of first. Whatever, the conversation was it was odd. And I literally said for the second time in one day, I tell you what, boss, why don't you hunt my tree stand? Just so that you know where it is for the whole week of doe season, so you can sidestep it later. So, the nicest way I could put, I'll go on the other side of the farm and hunt. So I did. I didn't see anything. No, I saw a doe walk out, and Jerry. So Jerry walking around with his lunchbox.
The dude from last year.
I remember Jerry.
The old guy.
Jerry
pulled up in the Toyota Corolla.
Lucky Jerry.
Same car.
Really?
Yeah, pulled up at 4:15 and started walking around because he only hunts that last hour because he's older. Walked right out 80 yards in front of me, turned around, looked up, and waved at me in the hill, and I went, yep, hi, Jerry.
I remember.
So here's the craziest part of this story. So it's a small world. The dude that I knew with his boy that I said hunt my stand, I found out later that evening talking to the farmer that the older guy that was in my tree stand on the other farm was that kid's grandfather, that dude's dad.
So basically had 3 generations
that just got permission that started hunting my farms. And I don't know. I'd never really climbed up in another dude's tree stand. I mean, if he's not there, he's not there, but it still feels weird.
Yeah.
And I was getting in late because I tried a different farm, but trying to do the most sportsman thing I could, walk away, didn't feel good. Right thing to do, but didn't feel good. And, so
you got a good heart, though. You know that. I mean,
I can just hear it, though. Would you mind coming down here and cleaning the mud off my boots?
Before I get in my stand.
Before I get in my tree stand.
Here's my butter knife.
The best part about hunting all year is that if your one day gets blown out, you got tomorrow.
It's just another concept of. You never know what's going to happen in deer. It has nothing to do with the deer sometimes. Because last night I tried to go out and I pulled through the farm, and the Mennonite who owns the farm stopped me to say hello, and I had a good hour and a half of daylight left.
Oh, Uncle Catfish!
And it was then dark when I was done talking to him because he likes to talk.
Yeah.
So you'll meet him because he'll talk to you for an hour.
Yeah.
Or if you haven't already met Mr. Malin, he's a good dude.
I did one time.
Yeah, he's very funny.
Yeah.
So I do have one more little quick funny story.
Oh, make it quick because we have a big story.
I know.
I think I know.
Breaking.
That did some stuff.
So first day, I get up and I'm start walking in the woods, going to cross this little creek. I'm going down in the dark, and I'm in really early. So I don't use flashlights because I try to beat everybody by an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So that I can get my tree stand on a private farm. I'm going down the creek bed and I hear this times like 6. There's 6 little raccoons freaking out. So I'm like, and it's loud. And then I can hear this like a heavier one. I'm like, man, what in the world?
Did you tell him you know Ryan?
No, yes. I was trying to
come in peace.
I'm trying to like harness my inner spittle to know what to do.
Yeah.
And Andy, come on, Andy, tell me what to do. I know you can hear me,
brother.
So I had no choice. I had to turn my flashlight on because it was in my path. And this mama raccoon, I've never seen anything like it. she saw the light, and I saw all 12 of these little beady eyes bouncing around, and she turned around, and I'm telling you, like a grizzly bear, come down across that creek bed and right at my flashlight. She was coming with intention of, like, it was like a Bad Disturbed song, like really angry. You could see it in her eyes. She wasn't coming over to tell me to get out of her tree stand. She was coming over to gnaw my leg off. And this was like one of those 35-pound raccoons I heard about.
Right.
You could see her head was big and her butt was 7 times as big behind her. And the crazy part, if you can picture this in the dark, flying down through the creek, up the creek bed, right at me, all you saw was a little tiny beady eyes bouncing behind her. Wait up, wait up, wait up, wait up. Like they were trying to catch up to her. So I got between her and her little ones, apparently. That's what she thought. I've never run from a raccoon before in the dark. And I definitely, on the first day of rifle season, an hour and a half before daylight, don't want to fire my rifle off with a flashlight and draw attention.
It's hard to explain the fact that you were protecting yourself from
I ran.
A raccoon.
I ran. I swallowed my pride, and I turned around and bolted back up the hill.
They were coming right for me.
And she did. She chased me for a little bit.
Wow.
She finally turned around and walked back to the creek with all her little ones, and I went, well,
you got me this time.
I have to divert around these raccoons to get to my stand, so now I have to use my flashlight. And I did bounce 2 deer in the morning with the flashlight. So. But yeah, raccoons chasing you is a new one on me.
I never had that.
She don't.
Me either.
As soon as she saw the flashlight, she was coming. There wasn't anything stopping her neither. Like I couldn't have the heart to kick her. I had to run.
Yeah.
Most of my raccoon is usually
encounters
come with, like, you hear them before you see them.
Yes.
And you start, like, wringing your hands. Like, there's
sound, yeah.
This is the biggest deer coming, blah, 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 you know. And then, you know, out from behind a log comes, you know, 3 raccoons. It's the worst. But you're, like, so jacked up and ready to go, and you can't see a deer. And anyway, yeah, that's my stuff. But I've never been accosted by
I'm learning a lot about myself this year. I'm getting older. First day of deer season, I randomly give my tree stands away, go ahead and get chased by raccoons.
How was your stamina on that one? Was it?
I made it 25 yards.
Yeah.
And I realized that I've had, bronchitis and pneumonia for a while. And
yeah, I know, because like when you went and got the goose, you were like,
I was dead.
It was a little bit further than I thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I didn't know if it improved since the exercise you got from the goose.
Well, I didn't notice. When you're getting chased, you don't notice it.
The adrenaline. Yeah.
All I could picture was her biting through my rubber boots, or actually getting me. And how do I explain a bunch of scars on my back and leg? I got attacked by a raccoon. Andy Spittle would never let me let them.
No.
They got the opposable thumbs too, so once they get a hold of you, they're not letting go.
No, so it was, last ditch effort. If I turned around the last time and she was there, it was 300 Win Mag in the dark. Sorry, I don't know what else to do. You're not gonna
accidental discharge.
Here is the wild thing, though. I did pack my lunch ahead of time and forgot to put my ham sandwich in the refrigerator for like 2 days. So maybe it was the ham sandwich she smelled.
That is that's.
It's actually still in my truck from the first day because haven't been in the tree stand long enough to eat.
Your bad luck has got to be surrounded by that ham sandwich. You like sushi grade ham. So
yeah, and it's old. I digress.
Did anybody get a deer this week?
Yeah.
Oyster shucker, maybe.
It must have been those scalloped oysters. I'm telling you.
They're lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. I was very fortunate. I called it Redemption up in Pennsylvania this past weekend. If you've listened to prior episodes, you may have heard of my misfortune of hitting a buck during archery season and being a non-fatal shot, which I'm calling it a non-fatal shot. We didn't find the deer, but I was able to redeem myself and get back up into Wyoming County, Northeast PA, and kill a nice 10-point. I was very fortunate Friday evening. Had Thanksgiving and left Friday afternoon. Took a 4-hour drive up.
What's your gun of choice for?
My gun this year, I went to a 6.5 Creedmoor.
Yeah.
The gun that I had always hunted with in Pennsylvania was a Remington Model 700 and a 30-06 caliber. My father gave me
Classic.
that. Yes, it was a Bushnell Banner scope. That's how old it was. A 3x9. It was a gift from my dad, my 16th birthday. So I'll be turning 46 here shortly. So that gun is 30 years old, and
probably one of the most priceless things in your house.
Yes, it is. And as I'm getting older and I'm using this rifle, for one thing, it is kind of an heirloom and something that I want to cherish. And so I'm afraid to take it out. That God forbid I slip and fall and crack the stock or damage it or what have you. But also, the choices of calibers now are changing, and so did a lot of research and watching the 6.5 Creedmoor and the ballistics on it. So I bought that gun earlier this year and got a scope on it, and that was the rifle that I took up. And I had some issues, or it took me longer to get this thing sighted in. I put a scope on it with the mounts that came with the scope, and was confident at 200 yards with it. And about 2 weeks before, I said, I want to get this thing out and run a few different types of ammo, brands of ammo through it, different grains, and see what shoots the best to get as most accurate as I could with it. And as I'm shooting it, shot 4 rounds with 4 different brands, and for whatever reason, all 4 shots were all over the place.
Disheartening.
Yes, it was. And I didn't want to move my scope. I shot 4, shot another 4, and shot another 4 without even moving the scope. And it was, it would have been a kill shot. It was, at 200 yards, it was a 4 to 5 inch group, but I was not happy with that. So
not what the gun can do.
Absolutely. So I called a guy or two and said, this is what's going on, and I don't know what's going, the gentleman that I spoke with had 2 of this particular brand scopes, and he's like, hey, I got different mounts. I went ahead and got a set of Burris, I think they're called Z rings, put those on it, and that's what it was.
Something
cleaned
that simple.
Wow. Cleaned her up. Yep. So at 200 yards, I was sub MOA and felt confident with the rifle. But got up there Friday night, went through some trail camera pictures. The stand that I normally sit in is in a fence row surrounded by a few fields. There's kind of a line of fields. There's 3 fields above us, 3 fields below us, and then my father sat in the stand very close to where I sat during archery season. Well, those fields still had standing corn in it. So you had a very small area to look down the fence row with, and
if they come out.
Yeah, if they come out. So when I was up there the last 3 days of archery season, I was talking with my dad, and I said, Dad, if they don't cut this corn, I got to find a spot to sit where I have the best advantage to see and harvest the deer. So we looked around. There was 1 or 2 fields that they didn't plant, and I said, well, hey, this looks like a good spot. We'll just throw a ground blind in, and
Last
kind
minute.
of. It was a last minute decision. We didn't know at the time they weren't going to cut the corn. He's like, I'll call the farmer, next week, and we'll find out. Well, to make a long story short, they weren't going to cut the corn. Set the blind up on Tuesday. Before the season. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that blind was there for 3 days. So that was kind of my best opportunity. And my brother was there on the property hunting. My dad was there on the property hunting. So I didn't want to be right on top of either one of them. But again, kind of made the best out of the situation that we had. Got set up in the blind, and try to have the video camera and it set up with me every time I go out, and I'm getting everything set up. Wanted there to be enough camera light to.
Have you hunted there before?
Yes, we have access. We've had access to this property for, I think this is the 10th year.
That spot though, have you hunted that spot?
No. I had not hunted this particular spot.
I'm going to get permission and then go sit in a tree stand.
Yeah,
Right
right place at the right time. It really was. Got set up, was actually on our thread, saying good luck, guys, kill a big one,
quick.
yada yada. I look to my right and there's a deer walking towards me, and I see antlers. I quick turn the camera on. I had a shooting stick and my rifle in the blind.
Yeah.
I didn't even grab the shooting stick. I just grabbed the rifle
Didn't have time.
Pulled up on him.
Did he know you were there?
He did. Well, I don't know if he knew I was there. I don't think he caught me moving. At one point in time, he did put his head down, and I did.
He was like, "Huh."
He just knew.
Blind.
Yeah.
Something
It was the blind. Yeah, it was the blind. And I told my dad, I said, that's like, somebody putting a new lamp in your living room. You walk home one day and there's a new lamp in your living room.
You're not supposed to notice.
You're certainly going to notice that when you walk in.
Looks like a lamp.
I didn't buy that lamp.
Yeah.
True, though.
Yeah. So this buck walked across this field. He was on alert. Again, his head was up and he was looking. He did put his head down for a second or two. Squeezed it off. He was looking. He was looking right at me, and I had no reservations at that range. Putting around. Facing me.
How far was he?
When I got to the deer and I turned around and clicked the rangefinder on the blind, it was 55 yards.
Chip shot
It
with
was
a
that
rifle.
close to.
So I hate to do this. Will knows I'm going to do it. You skipped over everything I want to hear. Which way was the wind blowing?
Yeah.
Like, did you have your ham sandwich? Like,
you have
details?
A ham sandwich, yes.
Yes.
I had.
Did you have?
Was he downwind? Is that why he was looking, or do you think it was the blind?
I really think it was the blind. Yeah, we had a
leftover cold scallop potatoes?
Yes.
Or scallop oysters?
Mush. Yes.
No, I had some Kit Kats and some Snickers
Oyster
and Crackle.
steamers.
No, none of that. Some beef. I had some beef sticks.
Okay.
Yeah, beef sticks.
What'd you eat for breakfast?
I had some Mountain Ops hot ignite in there.
Did any other deer run when
Mountain
you shot?
Mocha.
Or
That
he
was
alone?
that was the only deer I saw. That
Okay.
deer came in by himself. Yeah, the wind was at my back, but it was quartering the opposite way. So the deer came from my right.
So he wasn't far from busting you.
No, but I really think it was the blind.
Yeah.
He knew
seen that
something
happen
was up,
before.
but I was lucky. I was lucky.
Of course you
I
were.
sat up at Jim's for years.
Terribly
and watched-
lucky this year.
Yeah.
I watched deer come over this draw with Jim's for years. Never stopped to look because there's a single white trailer sitting there. The year I took Dad up there and put a ground blind up there, their heads would come above the ridge and they'd never commit.
Yeah.
And that was at 100 and some yards. They saw it and went,
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the things that may have helped me was the field wasn't completely flat and tail off straight down. It had kind of a crown to it.
So he come up over it.
Yeah,
he was there.
When I was sitting there in the blind and I got down and sat in the chair, it was the first time that I had sat in this blind.
How long were you first time sitting in this blind?
How long was I? When I made the shot and then looked down at my phone, it was 7:33. So legal shooting light was, I believe, 6:45 or 6:47, something like that. And I was in there 15 minutes prior to that. It was a real short walk, so I was in the blind about an hour. About an hour.
I was at work that morning, and I think I found an extra monster in the refrigerator I didn't know I had right around 7:33. I should have texted you.
That's cool.
Something's going to happen.
That's cool. Normally, have you ever had Catfish predict your shot?
No, but I wish
means
he
he
would
doesn't
from
like
now
it.
on.
No, here's the thing. It's a blessed day. It's a really blessed day because not only dare I say that's your best buck.
That matches my best buck inches wise.
No, I've had bigger.
Inch wise, I've never. That's my first 10 point. That's my first 10 point.
Because that's hunting. This very well could have been a couple things like he come up over the hill and gave you the opportunity because he saw the blind. That may have what stalled him for that long. Vice versa, you could have been reaching for your ham sandwich or your phone to text somebody in that split second that you would have looked up and he could have been running down the field. Like, that's what's great about hunting is just timing, right place at the right time. Sometimes can be the biggest blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think of all those things when something happens, like Lacey couldn't get a shot at that buck with the crossbow because of the branches.
Yeah.
Now, when we shoot that buck this Saturday with her rifle, and she makes a really good shot because we've been kind of struggling with really great accuracy, then that's going to give me that opportunity to say, no, you can do it. Like, weird things happen for a reason. Maybe the corn wasn't supposed to be cut because you wouldn't have been there.
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. But yeah,
What'd your dad and your brother shoot?
Fortunately, they were unsuccessful.
I just wanted to qualify that you are the luckiest. Like, that's all I was trying to do. I was like, yeah, they didn't get anything.
No, it was great seeing my dad, my brother, my nephew was there. He's, I think he turned 7 this year, and he is all about hunting. His birthday was last month, and my brother said to him, he said, "Hey, what do you want to do for your birthday?" He said, "I want to go squirrel hunting and then come back to the house and cut some wood." So I mean, this kid, yeah, he loves getting out.
I was ambitious when I was a kid too.
Yeah. So it was nice to see them, and of course I got to share, the harvest with them. I soaked it all in.
Yeah,
it was awesome. The sun was coming up. It was more just like a permanent smile.
Yeah.
And again, just the thoughts of things happen for a reason. I was so upset, down in the dumps, depressed, if you want to call it that, about my misfortune during archery season. And then within 30 seconds, I'm looking at, a huge
the second
10-point
biggest
buck.
deer I've ever shot.
Brian, let me be the first to say.
Oh my gosh! No,
congratulations.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah,
congratulations.
It was nice. It was definitely a I sat there next to the deer.
Did you cry?
I didn't cry. Well, I'm sorry.
Did this
bud,
Creedmoor do what it was supposed to do?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had loaded it with some Hornady American whitetail, 129 grain, and again, this buck, and there's so many idiosyncrasy between this buck and my Maryland buck that I had killed, which again
Muzzler
matches. Buck. No, my biggest rifle kill in Maryland also scored 136 inches.
Okay.
That buck also was a frontal shot. It was out at 100 yards. It stopped. I was confident in my equipment. I made a shot, and he dropped like a ton of bricks.
So a frontal chest sternum type shot.
Absolutely, yeah.
Is that a 10-point?
It was a 9-point. Yeah, 9-point.
When you butchered the deer, what did the Creedmoor do inside of it?
This buck just dropped like a ton of bricks.
Well, congratulations, bud.
So I got a chance to rewatch the video of it, and I can concur on that. The Creedmoor was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I'm happy with that gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna
own one too now.
I'm gonna shoot it a lot, and I want to get confident with it. The scope that I have on there is a little bit different. The turrets itself have graduations on there with numbers. I've always used the reticles that have the drop.
Yes.
And gone on to the ballistics of the scope, whether it be a Nikon or a Vortex or whatever it is, and put the caliber in and put the grain bullet. But this actually has turrets where you can do the clicks.
Yeah.
So I want to get to the point where this gun can reach out there. Obviously, zeroed in at 200 yards, but like we had said before,
very
not
capable of more than that.
Yeah. Not everything's going to be at 200 yards. So this buck was at 55.
Where are you aiming? If you're sighted in for 200 yards, where are you aiming for 55?
Well, let me rewind. I actually sighted the gun in at 100 the day before I went up.
Okay.
Oh.
So put a little bit more variables into it. I wanted to be prepared as much as possible. And when I woke up Friday morning, I thought, you know what? That field that I'm sitting in, there's no way I'm going to make a 200-yard shot. I'm going to go down and set this thing on at a bench, and I want to shoot it as it sits, the scope and the rifle combo at 100 yards, and see where it's at.
What did you have to just drop it?
Yeah, it was about 4 inches high.
Really?
At 100 yards. So I used the turret, dropped it down, took another 2 shots, dropped it down again. So now I know exactly where I'm at, the markings at 100 yards.
To raise it back.
And then when I go, I'm going to turn it back to 0, and that should be zeroed back in at 200.
Correct.
So that's where now, as things transpired, I want to get out and I want to be very familiar with this rifle, and I want to shoot it.
We can take it fox hunting. It's a little big.
Yeah.
But like groundhog hunting. I got some places in like Sproul, Pennsylvania, that we could shoot 600-700 yards with it for groundhogs.
So that's my new challenge. I've never adjusted a scope. I've always sighted it in, and that's where it's at.
Yeah.
So that's with this gun. I think that's my new challenge, is to maybe get so familiar with it I'm comfortable turning the turrets and
I'll go with you. I have a 22-250 that I have similar scope. Been playing with for years, but it's an art, and it's fun. You got to know your gun. But if you get out there and just start shooting it, even if you put balloons out at 400 or 500 yards in different ranges,
right?
It's a lot of fun to learn your gun. It's like learning your bow,
Yeah.
But a lot of times you don't get that opportunity to shoot multiple rounds of live game every year, so you have to,
Right.
But the Creedmoor is something that is. It's on my list.
Yeah.
If I wasn't addicted to kayak fishing, I would already have one.
Yeah, and it's a Model 700. It's nothing special. It's a Remington Model 700 ADL. So I'm familiar with the stock. I'm familiar with the safety, the trigger. It's a bolt action. So it's
Well, in order to make these shots, at long ranges, to have the gun that does that Creedmoor does, after Will has used it in Texas, and now you have used it, and I've had other people say that it's what I want for coyote hunting and long. Back in my day when I bought Faith, it was a Ruger #1 falling block, single shot, 300 Win Mag to do the same thing that this gun will do.
Yeah,
essentially at the same distances. So it may not have the ball on it and the knockdown power, but I don't really need that for what I'm hunting.
You're after.
Yeah. I was looking for the long range.
Yeah, stuff. I liked it, and you could poke holes in it all day long, but I just like not getting beat up and having the accuracy.
Yeah,
it just felt so much more accurate.
Can you explain to me what the difference between Kyle's new 308 cartridge and the Creedmoor is?
From I'm no ballistics or gunsmith expert, but I just know from what I've read, it's a 30 caliber cartridge that's neck down to a 270 diameter bullet.
Right. So it's not too far off the 308, actually.
No, and as far as the rounds that I'm shooting, those Hornady.
Yeah.
They are out of the gun. I'm gonna take a second here and look. Beep boop beep boop beep.
And you bought the 308.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'm torn between the two.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. I love Faith. Faith is very heavy. She's very accurate gun. Yeah. But I'm ready to retire. Like she's had her day, and she's done great for me. But my right shoulder popping and clicking doesn't like carrying her all day anymore.
No.
Yeah.
She's not one you want to go push deer with.
No.
So I'm ready to upgrade to a lighter weight, but I still want the accuracy.
Yeah. And this thing
do you have time? I know this is weird to say this, but do you have time to shoot a gun between now and Saturday?
Yes. I'll make time.
Take my 308.
You mean to make sure it's shot in?
Just take it. I'm going to use my shotgun, my 20 gauge.
All right. I'll take it. It's the bolt action.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll shoot it.
It looks just like Faith. Same grain pattern.
You may not get it back.
I might not.
Especially if I kill deer with it on Saturday.
Yeah, you'll like that. It's a Ruger compact.
Yeah, it'd be better than carrying Faith.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You just got to shoot it between now and Saturday.
I will. I won't take it out without shooting it. I know better.
Yeah, but the Hornady ammo that I'm shooting out of, I believe muzzle velocity is a little over 2,700 feet per second.
Yeah, that's cranking.
That's a fast bullet.
129 grain bullet. So, I knew it had plenty of knockdown power. My 6.8. I love the 6 millimeters. I also in Maryland were allowed to use semi-automatics down there. I have a Stag Arms. It's an AR platform. It's a 6.8 SPC.
Oh, okay.
And it is also a 30 grain that is again, neck down to a .272. So I'm shooting 115 grain Federal Fusion out of it. And
the Fusion tip?
Yes.
They're nice.
I've killed 4 deer so far with that over the years that I've had it.
Never took a step.
Never. Yeah, 2 of them dropped, 1 15, 20 yards and drop. I mean, it's effective.
No,
it's effective.
I actually shoot them out of faith too. Yep.
Yeah, I like the Fusion ammo.
Yep.
So I sidetracked us on the firearm just because I'm jealous. I mean, just because I was interested.
Pure jealousy.
Yeah.
That whole segment.
The 6.5 Creedmoor, I love it. No, not because I killed this deer with it, but just I like the caliber, like the gun. I like how it fits, how it feels. Less kick, less recoil. Yep. So I think that's going to be my PA rifle from now on.
Cool.
So
well, didn't you put a sticker on it already?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yours. No, I want to go back. I'm sorry because I sidetracked. It's important to me to know. So we left off. You knelt down you got to your buck and you knelt down with it, and it's surreal now. It happened.
You cried.
I would like to know what happened between. At what point did you first make contact with Dad, and what happened? Because he had to have had a moment there.
Oh
too.
yeah, he knew. So the landowner, physically, he can't get around as well as the rest of us. So my dad,
does he hunt?
He does. Okay. Yeah. So my dad offers. My dad's has kind of like a buck house, penthouse. It's elevated. He's got a propane tank outside that goes in with a buddy heater, and he's set up.
I told you I'm getting permission for this property.
So
you're gonna climb up on the first day and be like, "Why are you in my tree stand?" He's like, "Because everybody's in mine."
right. So
only fair.
The landowner and
the honey buns.
The landowner and he were in the same stand, and when my dad didn't contact me until I contacted him because he, for all he knows, I shot a coyote or I made a bad shot.
He knew it was your area that went.
He knew I shot.
Okay.
And one shot. So I went out, made contact with the buck, and then I called him. I said, Dad, I killed that big 10 point. He said, what? I said, that 10 point. He said, what 10 point? I said, that 10 point that we got pictures of. He said, you killed the 10 point. And I just kept on saying that to him. Yeah. And he's like, I told him that you weren't going to shoot anything small, and that was one shot and you nailed him, and he's like, or it was a coyote. Because last year I saw a coyote and I had taken a shot at a coyote, but he's like, I knew you weren't going to shoot any small bucks. And he said, I heard one shot.
Wow.
And that was a good sign. Yeah. So he's like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, well, I don't want to mess your hunt up. I said, it's only quarter
take
to
pictures for the Quest Hunt Coast.
Yeah. So I said, I'm going to hang out here. I said, I'm going to sit in the blind. Enjoy it. Absolutely. I said, it was getting nice and warm.
I feel bad for people who have a successful hunt and then rush all the next steps, or they maybe don't have time because it's getting dark, or it's going to rain and they're looking for a blood trail.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things there that are rushed. You don't remember. You can't reflect on things if you don't stop to reflect on them, which means in long-term memory, you won't have detail.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the little things like water dripping off, the blind, the stupidest things can be beautiful, can help you remember what a day was like, what the weather was like, did they spread manure on the farm next door? It smelled like cow crap. I know that sounds stupid, but it's part of your day. And that's what helps me remember days like that.
That seat that I was sitting on was sinking into the mud. I remember that blind was muddy, and one of the legs was cocked sideways, and I had to pull it up just like you said, just those little tiny things that will be etched in my memory, in my brain of this hunt. It was
very cool.
I'm very fortunate, happy. It's great.
Yeah, it's a beautiful buck.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
I hate to do this.
Thanks for coming on.
So now what does he do?
Bumping up on time.
So now what does he do? He
should be filling for other guys now.
Now he pushes.
Yeah.
I got a lot of tags in Maryland to fill.
Oh, I get it.
Bless your
but
heart.
I will.
No, that's okay,
will.
bud. You're in Maryland.
No, you stayed south of the Mason-Dixon. We'll handle it from here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if that's the biggest buck out of the group all year, the rule is that you have to pull the anchor up and down all year in the boat.
Yeah.
Or
We gotta
something.
penalize them for something.
I'll be up for that. I'll be up for that.
Congratulations, buddy.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
I think we did this current a little bit of justice.
I'd say so. Hey, Stevie.
Yeah, buddy.
Why don't you tell us about this month's sponsor?
This month is also brought to you in part by Miser Creative LLC. Rutten River Pursuits podcast is a production of Miser Creative LLC, and if you're interested in starting your own podcast, or if you need help creating video content for social media, look us up. Give Will an email at will@ruttenriverpursuits.com for more information or pricing options.
Thanks, Stevie. Fellas, this is a beautiful current. Talked about some great harvest. We're only halfway through the
There's
gun season.
Plenty of hunting time.
Plenty
left.
of hunting time left. So I look forward to some of the stories that we're still going to share on here.
Just like those little moments we talked about. I could not sit at my house tonight knowing you were going to tell that story.
I'm glad you're here, bud.
Listening to
I'm glad
it
you're here.
over the radio versus watching you tell it.
Yeah.
I wish people could be here to see it because you could tell that it generally was a good day for you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I like to I'm poking fun at, did you cry? Did you cry? It's just, it can be very emotional. But I think that you, of anybody, deserve this big buck.
Yeah.
You put in some time this year. We watched you from the moment you got your Matthews bow till now. Like you have more seat time, more practice time, more scouting, more trail cameras put out than anybody right now. It's just, I'm really super proud of you, and I don't know, wanted to say that.
I appreciate it, Will. And to piggyback that, I don't think about those things. I just do it. It's what I do to try to be successful in the woods.
Sure.
So, I don't feel that I'm anybody special.
Oh, you're not. Don't worry about it.
I don't know. I don't know if you would hate if I could ask this, but looking at, the buck is here in front of me.
Yeah.
And that G3, that G2 on that right side, I could make a really nice knife handle out of that. I would hate to cut your rack open.
Right.
I'll get one for you. I'll get you. I got a couple sheds at the house that's a little bit longer than that.
That's a heck of a buck, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. Oh, well, Kyle.
Brian.
When we're not talking about hunting big bucks and laying them down
with a 6.5 Creedmoors,
where can people find us?
Or crying over Thanksgiving.
Or debating about whether our potatoes should be scalped or our scallops should be potatoed. They can find us at ruttenriverpursuits.com. They can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and the Twitters at Rutten River Pursuits Podcast. Don't forget to check out the YouTubes where we put out the podcast and other little sneaky videos.
RuttenRiverPursuits.com.
RuttenRiverPursuits.com. And don't forget, you can catch this podcast episode and all the previous episodes on the Apple Podcast app, on iHeartRadio, Spotify.
Love that Spotify.
You have many to choose from. What a week, fellas.
Good.
All right.
Good hunting to you.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
All right. See you next time, fellas.
Bye.
Bruce.
Get outdoors.
Smoke that cheese.
We have the freshest cookies.
Yes.
Is it sushi grade?
Sushi grade. Sugar cookies.
Sushi grade chocolate cookies.
You know what I like? Oyster sugar cookies.
I don't think Miser's I think it's Mogwai. You guys multiply like through water on it. Well, there's a lot of numbers.
It's true, but it's more like locust. Like every 7 years, it
happens.
There's a population explosion.
Yeah.
Every 7.
think about those things. I just do it. It's what I do to try to be successful in the woods.
Sure.
So, I don't feel that I'm anybody special.
Oh, you're not. Don't worry about it.
I don't know.